more. Yeah, we'll send it to a PDF first. So PDF, good way to see what it's going to look like printed out. So if you do, go into your layout view and get a nice view. So some of the tools I use here are, you can see I'm zooming out on the data frame now, on the actual data. But really, there's two ways to zoom in and out, which I think we know. You can zoom out on the actual data frame, or you can zoom out on the map, right? So here are your two toolbars. This one's for the data frame, the tools, and this one's for the layout. So what I usually do is you can do 100% on the layout toolbar, which means zoom in as if the screen was a piece of paper printed. So that on my screen is going to be exactly what, if you held a piece of paper up to it, it would look like. So you can kind of get an idea of what it would look like when you're looking at it. So you can see all of our symbols are very small. So let's up our reference scale again to get it so you can actually read them. And this is different only in that we're controlling it, whereas if you don't do this, then ArcMap dynamically just does it, re-symbolizes everything no matter where you're looking. So keep making it smaller. All right, that's pretty good. Because it's a detailed map, right? And one of the things I was going to talk about was the size I have set for it is 2 feet tall and 3 feet wide. So it's like, you got to kind of imagine like that's on the floor and it's 2 feet by 3 feet. So it sometimes takes a minute to really like get that visual in your head and work with the map as if it is this really big piece of paper. So let's export that to a PDF and see how it looks. So I did file, export, and then PDF. The best PDF options, just keep it at 300 resolution and best output ratio. If you generate a PDF and it's like 100 megs, if it's huge, you can just turn that down, and it'll be a little bit less quality, but it will be not as enormous of a file. So it'll take a second. So here we go. All right, so again, here, if you ever see percentages on a program like this, 100% means that's what it looks like if it was a piece of paper on the ground. So I'm just going to scroll over. You can see everything looks way better. You can imagine that printed out. It would be real small on a 2 by 3 foot map, but that's a big map. So it's like, you can kind of tweak it from here, and you can just see that the labels are more defined, So when you're in here, you don't have to worry about the choppiness, and the choppiness just comes from the fact that your computer has pixels on it, and it can only show so much definition. Yeah, so some quick things on a layout, and we won't go too much into depth, but basically this is usually, of course, the most important time-consuming things that go into a map are the symbols and the things on the map, but you also want to add some other details. So I'm just going to pull this up and make some space for what they call the marginalia. So actually, I think I might pull the bottom up. We're going to put a scale there, a title, and the date maybe, and some sources. And then I'm going to pull this to the right so I can put the legend over here, because I'm just going to generate a very basic legend, and we can work on that as we go. So first, anytime you want to add something to the map, you just go to Insert, And this has all of your extra stuff that you might want to put on a layout. So let's just do a legend first. So this is where we can pick things to have in there and not have in there. So I think we're just going to do everything. I guess the contours are obvious. So if I don't want something, I click on it and I click this little left-hand button and it pops it out. The parcels are obvious. We don't need those. Campus trail. Oh, we have 2 parking lines. We'll get rid of one of them. Parking lots, we have 2. Okay. Then I just hit next. And you can take the title off. It doesn't need to say legend. It's pretty obvious what it is. Next. So this is a good, I actually don't think this works, but you can set what they look like in the legend. I like rounded rectangles, and I like little incline lines. So yeah, it doesn't work. So you actually have to go into the properties and then go to this and tell it, yeah, rounded rectangles, incline lines. It's just a bug. So kind of neat, right? Like that's basically everything. So one of the things that's annoying when you get a legend is you get this all other values thing in there, and usually that's just a catch-all, which you don't really need. So for example, in fun things, we can go into the properties, and this is all still linked to the data, to the table of contents over here, and you can just say symbology, uncheck that box, and then it will go away. So now it's looking better. Additional buildings, looks like we got a couple we can get rid of. Just in our, not getting rid of them on the map, just getting rid of that in the legend. So I guess we could actually call this other. So I just clicked under name, and you can edit these however you want. So then I would uncheck that, and then those things would make more sense. So we'll work on this as we go, but usually I'll just come down to the bottom and make it small enough so it just fits on the right side of the map. You can also, if you use your drawing tools, you can have your legend selected and just change the size of the text. So 20-point font's pretty big, it's just like a Word document if you printed it out. So you imagine like 12 points, probably good enough, or something like this. And it also won't be enormous, like in your face, kind of when you're looking at the map. So there's a lot more we could do, but I'm just going to stop with the legend for now. I was thinking that I would print this and put it on the wall, and then kind of like once I get the printer access, just come in and print it every week and just put a new one up as we go. So okay, there's our legend. Actually, let's. What do you think the title should be? UNE? Come on. University of New England. Biddeford campus? Is that what you call it? Yeah, alright, so then you can just do OK. You see it's super small, but when it's selected, you can use these tools down here to make it really big. So that's enormous. I wouldn't go up to 72. I'd say cap it out at 48. And then you can just get as creative as you can imagine. Let me try something. I might screw it up. But one of the things you can do with legends is kind of lay it out so it goes left to right. But I don't think it's going to work. So I think place items in new columns and just making like 20 columns. Let's see. Oh, wow. Yeah. Let's try 5. Oh, right. You have to click on each one of these. Okay, I got it. All right, so that's just going to be 1, but I'm going to click on each one. Oh, I see. Okay. Mm-hmm. Nope, I'm going to go back to what we had. But you can imagine with a little bit of thought, you can figure that scheme out to get it so it like puts them left to right. So I'm just undoing to get back to here. So we're just going to do a north arrow, pretty standard. Funny thing about north arrows is on a world map, they're usually not right because if you move it to the right and it's pointing up, actually north is in the middle of the map. You know, I mean, if you unfold like a Mercator projection, you are right because that one point of north is the whole top of the map. But on other ones where it's curved, it's just going to be wrong. So I like simple north arrows. Some people like very distracting ones. Oh man, where did it go? Oh, here we go. It's right there. That actually was really helpful. That's, I got it. And then typically you'd put in, I can just do insert text. Little tiny guy right there. Okay, so then we put, all right, JS 162, spring 2018. That's all I need, I guess. It's kind of neat, I guess. So yeah, that's good enough for me for now. And let's take this parcel off and we'll make a PDF of this. Let's just zoom in and take a look. So one of the other things I wanted to talk about was just at some point we go in and kind of like check each other's work and like everybody look at the map and write down anything you see that is missing, and then bring it in and we can go over what we might want to add or what's missing. I guess just by looking at this, I might do a couple things. I guess these blue lights should have be a little bit more standout, so I'm going to make a yellow outline. In the name of safety. Let's see. I don't know if I like that. Let's do a thicker black outline, I think. I think these are all a little bit too big. And yes, I have spent hours just messing with this stuff. And generally, it's good to know. I mean, it's not, nobody gets it right on the first try. So it really is. You go in, you try something, and you export it to PDF, or you print it, and you lay it on a table, and you get your colleagues around, and you say, what's wrong with this? Like, do you have any suggestions? Because anybody looking at a map like this for long enough is going to lose the ability to make it interesting and different. It's kind of a funny thing about looking at the same design for too long. I'm gonna make these labels a little bit smaller. Let's see. Anybody have any suggestions? Oh, yeah. Which ones?
The two larger ones.
These? That one? Are they not there?
No, that's a button.
Oh, is that right? Oh, all right, nice. So one thing we can do is
What's that?
this one?
Cards.
Tennis courts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was looking at the base map the other day when I was making the pass, and I think it was that thing, like, it shows up when it's zoomed out, but once I zoomed in a certain amount, it just, like, actively disappeared.
Yeah. So there's a couple things that don't exist on the multiple air photos that they have because they were built recently. One of them is Secaucus Hall, and it's still not on the map. So
It is on
is it? Well,
I
I.
saw it.
I sent you the shape file with it in it. That's the code is right there, the big L one.
Oh, that's that. I thought there was a building over here. Maybe I think it's a business building.
No, there's nothing.
Is that right? Well, I was way off then. That happens.
The business building is down the road.
Yeah, actually, that's a nice job on that one.
It's in the London.
That's very good. All right, let's see. Okay, so that's in the buildings layer. All right, so what I was gonna do. So check this out. So this happens a lot, right? Like you want to move that feature into another shapefile. So we can just start editing the parking lots. Just I'm gonna pick one of them. I have two because we're gonna merge them when we get into some other things. But so now I'm editing the parking lots, and so what I can do is make the buildings the only thing selectable, and then I can use my editor toolbar to select that one and that one, and then I can use the copy paste tool, which is right here in your standard toolbar. So copy. Oh, it just pasted my. I guess I can't copy. Let's try this. Edit. Nope. Wonder why that is. You know what? We're just gonna do some quick and dirty digitizing here. It's gonna be easy because all the features are already there, and we're just gonna. So they're parking lots.
No, I meant like there's a parking lot underneath it. Like there's just a weird polygon. Like turn on the world image.
What? I'm happy we did it then because.
No, but the parking lot's bigger than that.
Oh.
It's a weird shape.
Oh, that's where I parked, I think.
What's that black?
Park.
So that is a building. Whoa. So when your ArcMap starts doing some stuff like that, save it immediately. Because you will lose everything that you've done for the last however long you've been working on it. Just one of the first lessons you learn is to save often. Alright, so we're going to get rid of the thing I just drew. And so there's a parking lot around it, you're saying?
No, there just isn't a building there.
Like there's.
Wait, so is there a building or not? Should I
No.
just delete it?
There's no building.
Okay.
I meant like there shouldn't be a building there because it is a park.
Got it. Understood. Oh man.
And that little one too.
Alright, so let's just do edit, start. Yes. Jeez. Alright, now let's make a new parking lot here. Oh wow, yeah, there's a lot of parking.
I just didn't.
Oh, you did? Okay, nice. Alright, well then we will hold off. Kylie will be updating us shortly. Any other suggestions? Anything you've noticed?
I don't know what those buildings, I don't know if those lighter ones are buildings either.
These ones?
There's stuff
It feels
to
like
finish
those
up.
lighter ones aren't actually buildings.
Did we do anything down there? Hopefully I don't know.
I'm working.
You working on it? What about the campus center?
No, I haven't even known that. I did all the ones that facilities and I did civil. See, beautiful.
Oh yeah. Whoa. They disappeared. Oh yeah, those are buildings. Yeah.
Then why aren't they brown like the other ones?
They're in a different layer. Yeah, actually, it's a good point. I mean, we could just make them the same. So the way I would do that to apply a symbol to another layer is I would go up to buildings and I would do save as, finish, and just get that symbol, and then now it's saved, and I'd go to the other one and I'd say, all right, use that. And now it's exactly the same. You don't have to really do any thought there. So that's always helpful, like just changing the percent, like because we're looking at the layout view still here, so like it takes a little bit more. If you forget, it can get really crazy because like, you know, if you don't remember which zoom in tools you gotta use, you'll just end up kind of getting lost. And the ways to get back when you get lost are zoom to the whole page, or back on your page layout views. It'll pop you back to where you're looking. And this one will pop you back to where you were zoomed into. So now I have the imagery on, which is not helping. So, right, so we've zoomed in, so I'm just going to, I guess, oh yeah, back, did it once. Alright, well cool, this is our temporary map then. Oh, spring 2000, yeah, we did put the date. Oh, and the last thing, so I wanted to show you again, if you go to the layers, so the way I added in water was to go to the data frame and use to give a background to the data frame. So the thing about that is, of course, you got to make something to cover it up everywhere else. I don't know if I like that blue. Let's see. That'll be good. So what I'd use is the parcels, because they cover everything except for the water. And now you got blue ocean. Which doesn't look that great, actually. One thing I noticed, actually, is that there's contour lines on the top here. It's because there's land there. We just only have Biddeford. It's another town. So at some point, we should grab another shapefile and put it in there to cover that up. Yeah, I don't like that blue. It's a little better. Getting the right color is another thing you can spend hours doing. I'll show you. There's a great website called Color Brewer by this woman, Tracy Brewer. Pretty creative. And it specifically is for maps, but she's got like the best contrast in colors on a map is actually like surprisingly hard to get right. Because the human eye, there's a threshold like where at some point it's just dark enough where you can clearly see that's a different color. So what she does is you can do sequential color schemes. You can get diverging, which would be one color, two colors in one. Colorblind safe, always a good thing to remember that some people can't see red and green. So you got to modify based on that. Cool, you can put terrain on. It's awesome. Or, you know, just a bunch of nice colors. And so the thing is, when you have these colors, you can pick RGB. Show me the RGB values. and then you get them, and you can go into ArcMap and say, well, let's use that color water. So 31, 120, 180. Go to colors, more colors, 31, 120, 180. Now we got that nice color. So like, she's done the work, and it's like surprisingly hard to get those nice colors. Otherwise, like, especially using that limited color palette that ArcMap has, a lot of the work that you do to make a nice map is to go in and basically try a whole bunch of different colors to get them to kind of work together. And the more time you put in it, generally, the more time, the better it looks. And you have to kind of be willing to not give up. So let's change this turf field to green. Now it looks like water. There's an old rule about, you shouldn't use blue for things that might get mistaken for a river, but that's the only big one. Like roads shouldn't be blue, or it'll confuse people. Cool. It is blue, isn't it? Yeah. All right. Yeah, you're right. I think that's why originally. We'll just do a super dark blue. It's a good call. Maybe so. Sometimes maybe I could put an outline on it, and it will be. Oh, I can just do lighter blue outline. Let's do green outline. Maybe there's grass around it. And then, so a lot of times, like, you'd be like, oh, I want to see what that looks like. And so you can put it in the middle and then do 100% again. As if you're looking at a piece of paper on the ground. So it looks pretty good. Now, doing 100%, I realize that the labels are pretty darn small. So this would be a situation where I'd want to print it and see what that looks like, and then alter it based on what literally looks like a paper. Because sometimes if you have a map of the wall, you can get your nose 2 inches away from it. And all that really matters is how close you can get. Like billboards, if you walk up to a billboard, pixels are like the size of your fist, right? Because like you're so far away that it doesn't matter. But it's a funny relationship between how close you are and what the resolution has to be. Resolution being how many pixels per inch. It's cool. So anyway, let's export this, and I'll send it around, and then think about it. And at some point, we're gonna have trails all over this thing. We're gonna have all the parking lots in there. You can imagine like now you can see it's starting to get filled in here, but with all the parking lots and then all the pathways, it's gonna really look like a super detailed, very very cool map. So. Save this guy and export it.